hope you guys can hear me. I forgot to change the settings. 1 second. Wow. Off to a great start today. Awesome job, me. Totally forgot to turn my camera on. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Prop Queen Pod. I am obviously the Prop Queen Ariel Epstein, and I'm super excited for today's show, which is also why I got distracted by setting the most important part, which is my camera being on for this live stream, because we've got two amazing guests coming on the show today. First, I'm going to be having Coach James Young, who always joins us to talk some WNBA, NBA props for tomorrow's NBA Finals at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have on a first-time guest who a lot of you who love baseball definitely should know. His name's Talkin' Jake. He's on with Jomboy Media. Super excited to talk about their huge expansion. MLB is getting a minority stake of Jomboy. And for anybody who wants to be inspired by a story that started from just like two friends doing something fun that's now led to this, I mean, it's incredible what those two have done over at Jomboy. So Jake's going to come on and inspire us all so that we can learn that, hey, like persistence is everything. The weather is so gross outside. Now it's sunny out in New York, but my hair is frizzing from the inside. Like I'm not even outside. What the hell? Jessica Brand said Jomboy is her dream company. And it's true because they have really created such a hell of a name for themselves. And they are the future of what sports media is going for. And that's why you're seeing Major League Baseball really start to invest in all this. So we will definitely be talking a little inspiration at 5:30. But of course, I want to inspire you guys to win some money, which is not what I did last night because it sucked. Aside for Chris Sale, who flew over his 7.5K prop, 11 strikeouts against the Brewers in 7 innings. I literally still do not understand how Matthew Boyd did not have 1 strikeout yesterday. First of all, he threw a great game. He gave up 1 run and went 6 innings. Phillies are striking out a lot. I mean, against lefties, they're averaging just over 5 strikeouts a game. So for Matthew Boyd to not have 1 strikeout is beyond me. Yusei Kikuchi, I knew that one was going to be a close call. 5.5 strikeout prop. He ends up with 5 and 7 1/3. And then Jessica, you had just as rough a day as I did yesterday. Merrill Kelly had 18 outs, not 17.5. Well, not 17. And then he went 6 innings, so 18 outs. Brad Marchand also had a goal yesterday. Jessica said, second game in a row, my newsletter, NHL pick scored the game's first goal. That's how I felt about Matthew Boyd. How? Something else, how? The College World Series starts on Friday. No college baseball team that made the College World Series in 2024 has made it in 2025. It's the first time since 1957. Can you imagine? And I know there's only 8 teams. Can you imagine? I'm trying to think of something similar. 8 teams. It's like saying that you don't get to the division, the same teams didn't get to the divisional round of the playoffs. I mean, that's insane to me that not one of those. And this all was because Murray State clinches a spot in the College World Series after a win over Duke yesterday at Duke, by the way. Oh, and the Duke head coach right after the game pretty much left for Virginia. So that's what's crazy. Yeah, like Jessica's saying, World Series, the MLB wildcard format before they expanded it was 8 teams. And it's crazy to think that, you always get, right? The Yankees are always back in most of the time. The Dodgers tend to be back in most of the time. So the fact that not one team who's the same made it back to the College World Series. We're talking SEC, right? All the money in the world in the freaking SEC, and no one made it back. Who was in it last year? We got Arkansas as a favorite, but Murray State, guys, this team, literally, from over on Twitch, you guys can follow at Twitch, by the way. Joe Quills, he says, the Murray State team's wild, plays an 850-seat stadium, and the manager head coach mows the lawn. The team literally does the lawn. They don't have any help. I just find it insane. And my friend Ben Stevens over at Sports Grid, he said that they're the fourth number 4 seed in a regional, which for anyone that doesn't know college baseball, you've got 4 teams in each regional, ranked 1 through 4, of course. So the 4th team means like you're the worst team in your regional. So you have to win your regional as a massive dog to then go to a super on the road and win as a massive dog to then reach the College World Series. 4 teams have done it. Oral Roberts, Stony Brook, and Fresno State were the other 3. Do you know how many teams have never been to Omaha? And I'm not even talking winning the College World Series. I'm talking like, do you know how many people would die to go to the College World Series? There are D1 schools that haven't gone. And you're telling me that this team did? And it's crazy because no one really pays attention to college baseball. ESPN doesn't really care about college baseball. They have literally announcers calling the Miami Marlins the Florida Marlins on there. No one, the network isn't caring. I care. I love college baseball. I think it's one of the best playoffs. I think it's amazing in college sports. Even my mom got into it when she came to my apartment the other day. We were watching Arkansas UNC. No, that wouldn't make sense. Sorry. We were watching the UNC series. Oh, Arizona State. Arizona. That's what it was. Arizona and UNC. We were watching them. And my mom was like, wow, this is so fun. Yeah, it is. College baseball has been awesome. So again, when you have college basketball that everyone's talking about how bad it's been because you had all the top contenders do great and there wasn't really a Cinderella story this year. Same thing for college football. You don't see as much excitement in the early rounds of the college football playoff, especially now they even want to expand it even more. And we want to expand college basketball. College baseball is where it's been at, guys. It has been awesome to watch. He calls them the Havana Marlins. What about the Savannah Bananas? Yeah. Jess says they were calling Savannah Banana games over this. I know. And it's been so good. Probably their biggest win in school history, 1988 March Madness over NC State, probably the high mark. That's the problem. I know it doesn't generate as much money, but it's really good for NIL. At least I would think it's good for NIL. Anyway, the Duke head coach ends up going to Virginia right after Duke ends up losing. So more drama in college sports. There was also, I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok or Instagram or any of those places, but I thought it was kind of funny when I was looking at the catch that the A's player made in center field again. It's his second great catch of the year. If you guys didn't see it, go check out my X page. I retweeted it from MLB. But come on. We know, at least in baseball, we know how to deem something a catch, right? The NFL surely doesn't. David Fink said, still have Arkansas future alive thanks to Grissom. Hell yeah, we absolutely love to hear that. I know that I've been ranting on and on about college baseball, but I just feel like it really doesn't get enough love. We do have a lot of sports to cover today. Major League Baseball, full slate in action. There were a bunch of weird fishy lines that I saw in baseball. A lot of strikeout prop leans that I like as well. We've got WNBA, a couple games tonight, which we're going to get to with Coach James Young in just a minute. NBA finals are tomorrow, which I keep thinking it should be today, but it's tomorrow. And then the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are back on Thursday. Anyone else feel like the NBA finals should have been today? I just keep thinking, oh, NBA finals today. Oh, and the last thing that I want to bring up before we bring on Coach, Aaron Rodgers is married. Anyone else see that? Aaron Rodgers is the most casual celebrity to get married today, in the last couple months. No one knew about it. Super quiet. Hasn't signed with the team. So everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers signing with a football team. And yet Aaron Rodgers is off getting married. Doesn't talk about it. We have no clue who it is. A reporter asked him about it. He's like, Jessica Brand, that's the only time he's getting a second ring. Forget the football field. It's true. Steelers fans don't want to hear that. But no, it's crazy to think that Aaron Rodgers is married. If Rodgers marries and no one was there, did it really happen? That's my question. Did he really get married? What did he marry? It was so nonchalant too. The reporter's like, hey, you have a ring on your finger. He said, yeah. You got married? Yeah. When? A couple months ago. Oh, cool. All right. No word of it. No sign of who. It's pretty crazy to think NBA usually takes days off in between during the finals for some reason. It's a lot of extra days. A lot of extra days off for the NBA finals. All the Panthers do is hit overs. Yeah, yesterday in the Stanley Cup Finals was absolutely crazy. I can't believe, was that like 6-1 final? No one saw that coming. At least I didn't. I didn't see that 6-1 final coming. I'm waiting for Coach James Young. I know that he's coming here in a sec. It is 5:11. Oh, I think he got a snazzy suit on. Let's bring him on. You know him. It's the coach, James Young. Welcome to the party.
It's always a pleasure to be on with you. Yes, Ariel, typically on travel days, you'll get an extra day of rest. They did it, obviously, for now. I think the problem is,
Aaron Gordon would love that. That's what he wants for the whole playoff.
Well, as he wants for the whole playoffs, but he ain't getting that shit. So he can cry while his Nuggets.
If we had to do this many days off in between the entire playoffs, the NBA season would go from October until August.
Basically, almost does. I mean, it goes until almost the end of June. So, yeah, I mean, I like only one day off in between if there's no change in city. But generally, they do 2 days. And it's usually only in the finals. The Knicks series, I think, was pretty much 1 day in between straight through. So, really, it's weird. Kind of depends on the series and the matchup.
It's crazy to think, too, that Golden State, if they were to have won that last game, would have had, 5 days off in between because of poor scheduling. Dummies. Yes. Absolute dummies. Okay, we'll get to the NBA in a second since it is tomorrow. WNBA time. We've got 2 games on the slate. First, you've got a game coming up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Indiana Fever, still without Caitlin Clark. Atlanta Dream at home, -5, total 161. How are you playing this?
Well, I'm going over in the game tonight in that matchup between the Fever and the Dream. I'm also looking at Ryan Howard over 17.5 points. You got to realize no Caitlin Clark, but Indiana doesn't really play defense, and the Atlanta Dream like to get up and down, which is kind of weird with that double big lineup of Brianna Jones and, of course, Brittany Griner. So I'm going to go over in that game along with Ryan Howard over points. And dun, 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 guess who's back? The worst team in the WNBA. That's right. Your Chicago Sky are in action tonight, getting, ready, folks, not 1, not 2, but 2 touchdowns and the 2-point conversion. They're getting 16 points. So I'm like, okay, do I really want to do this after the Liberty beat them by 30? I'm going to just go first quarter -5.5 points. Liberty, one of the best, if not the best defensive team. Chicago Sky can't fucking score. Not only that, Courtney Vandersloot tore her ACL over the weekend. They are awful. If you can still get under 13.5 wins, I will take it. If you can find a team with the most losses in the WNBA, I'll take that as well. Chicago Sky and the New York Liberty, they go under tonight.
Okay, this is the double-digit spread, like you said. When it comes to props, I know in the NBA, I have to usually steer clear of props in a double-digit spread. How would you approach props in this spot?
No, I would just look at maybe if you could look at first quarter, props. Maybe look at someone like, because you got to remember, Jonquel Jones is out for the New York Liberty. I mean, she's a game time decision, so we'll see. And the line is up to 17.5, so that must mean I'm looking right now. Jonquel may be in the lineup because that thing jumped in the last half hour. It was 16. It's up to 17.5. So Brianna Stewart first quarter points is over 5.5 at -112. If I know that I'm not getting Jonquel tonight, I would look at Brianna Stewart over to 5.5 in the first quarter. Typically, she'll play the first 8 or 9 minutes, and the Liberty have just been absolutely just rolling teams, particularly teams that are not good. So take a look at Liberty in the first quarter. If you want to look at get off to a good start, Brianna Stewart over her points prop of 5.5 at -112 on FanDuel. I wouldn't bother with. I would not be mad at you one bit.
Caitlin Clark, what's the update?
They're starting to ramp up. I think they would love her to play Saturday. Why? It's Liberty versus the Fever, nationally televised game. So I think that's the game they want to have her back. I just don't know because you want to get her back for the ratings, but you also want to get her back for the entire season. So I think the league is a little bit nervous about her not coming back and not being back long enough. So to me, this team should be playing better than what they are. It was really Kelsey Mitchell that was struggling. Of course, remember Sophie Cunningham, who has she's been in the news for other reasons. Sophie Cunningham.
It's those legs.
As well.
Just kidding.
I just I had to do it. So yeah. I do think they want to get her back, but to me, what's interesting is as they struggle. I think we talked about this. Maybe we haven't. If you are looking at Caitlin Clark in the MVP market, the longer that they struggle without her, and the more she drops in price, if she comes back and they go on a run, I know Nafisa Collier is the runaway MVP right now. They'll find a way to get it to Caitlin Clark because they'll say how valuable she is by missing time. So I think, if she comes back healthy and they go on a run, I wouldn't be surprised if Caitlin Clark makes another run at this MVP title this year.
Coach, similar to when you get a star player back in the NBA and the NFL, sometimes there could be a little bit too much of the number baked in. Like sometimes the line just moves a little too much in favor of them. Sometimes their points are overvalued. How would you approach that first game if it is against the Liberty with Caitlin Clark back?
I think that the best thing to do with Caitlin Clark is maybe look at the assist market. She's going to have Natasha Cloud if she comes back in that game, and Natasha Cloud is one of the best defenders in the WNBA. I would really look at Aaliyah Boston. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston have and it's going to sound crazy, but they have a John Stockton, Karl Malone pick and roll, where they read each other so well. You watch Aaliyah Boston when she comes back, she'll jump up in points. Maybe look at Aaliyah Boston points, go Caitlin Clark assists as CC tries to get Aaliyah going on that pick and roll.
Okay, that's a few days away, and it feels like so is this. We've got the NBA in action tomorrow. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tips off. They're in Indiana. You like the Pacers' first quarter money line. Why?
This is the critical game of the series. They stole home court, and it's going to be important for them to lean on that crowd in the first quarter. Also, Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam were god-awful in the first half. I think Halliburton had only 3 points. So this is kind of correlated right now. I'm going to take the first quarter money line with the Pacers. I think they actually try and come out and take the lead early. Then we get the line to drop. So I wouldn't mind you. I still think Oklahoma City wins the game, but maybe after the first quarter, if they're losing, then bet them live. Speaking of betting live, I like Jalen Williams to go over his second points live. I want people to understand how we're going to do this. If you watch the NBA and watch it closely, SGA plays all 12 minutes of the first quarter. They get Jalen Williams out with about 4 minutes left to go in the first, 5 minutes left to go in the first. He sits the quarter, and then he starts the second quarter. SGA, go look at, there's a really cool website called popcornmachine.net. And you can look there for the NBA and look at game flows. So if you look at the game flow for game number 2, you can see that Jalen Williams came in about a 4-minute and 53-second stint, was a +9, 2 of 4 from the floor, 7 points. And then he played the last 3:41. But go look at SGA. SGA came in at the 7:06 mark of the second quarter. You want more? I got more. Go to the second quarter. Where SGA, he sat the first 6 minutes, about 5.5 minutes of quarter number 2. You go to even the last round, that is another spot. So you got it. A way that you can beat the market is live, is if you know substitution patterns of coaches. Dagnall is dead. Serious. Every time. Unless he's in foul trouble, 12 minutes SGA, Williams sits the ending part of the first quarter, then he goes in the beginning of the second quarter, SGA then sits. It's generally Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren coming together at the end of the first quarter. I like to look at Jalen Williams. You have to wait for the quarter to end and look at the second quarter props. he should be able to get up and over it.
Is there a certain number for Williams that you'd be targeting?
As long as it's like 5, 4.5, 5.5, that's what I would look at. If it's something crazy like 7.5, I wouldn't touch it. But if it's around 5.5, 6, 4.5, 5.5, that's what I would look at to see if he can go ahead and get that going then.
And then Halliburton over 4.5 points in the first quarter. Mr. Dream came on yesterday to talk about this. He had the same play. Halliburton coming out saying he has to be more aggressive early on. How much are you concerned about this lower leg injury?
Okay, a little bit, but here's the thing, and I don't know what Dream talked about, but here is my background as a coach. I saw something in the fourth quarter that I did not see in the first 3 quarters. It took Halliburton off the ball. It was kind of the Brunson effect where Tibbs took Brunson off the ball. Here's why. The way he tries to get down, right, low and go off people. If you're a strong defender, you could bump him off if he has the ball coming up the floor. So what you do is you put him off the ball, you set a screen, you get a dribble handoff, and you get him on the run, typically going to his right. You watch that fourth quarter, you bring it up, he made about a couple of floaters, 2 or 3 floaters in the fourth quarter based off of that dribble handoff coming off the ball. So even if you look at the first possession or two, if you see Nembhard bringing the ball up the floor a little bit, that's a sign that they're putting him off the ball. I would look at that over first quarter at 4.5 at FanDuel because it is plus money.
Lastly, I know you have to go Thunder live bet. If they're losing, is this spread or money line?
I would just go, listen, I think they're winning game 3. I think game 3 is a closer game. I do think the series is not going to go more than 5. I think they're going to win the next 3. I think it's going to be close game 3, a little bit bigger in game 4, destruction in game 5. Oklahoma City knows that they have to play 48 minutes versus Indiana. Indiana will play from the lead early on. Oklahoma City really good in the second half, particularly in the third quarter coming out of the locker room like gangbusters. If Oklahoma City is losing at the end of the first quarter, it's going to probably drop that line to about 2.5 or less. Jump in money line with the Thunder. Thunder will take it the rest of the way.
Coach James Young, I know you have to go on dad duty, but as always, we love having you on. I know we're going to have you on again very soon. Make sure to check him out all over the Sports Grid platforms as well. Coach James Young, good luck with those bets.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy, Ariel.
Dad duty. It's a grind. He said he had to be out at 5:22, but he gave us the stuff. I'll go through some NBA stuff as well now as we are waiting for our next guest, Talkin' Jake from Jomboy. He's going to talk all about the new partnership with Major League Baseball and give you some inspiration as to how we can continue to grow businesses and continue to live a dream, because we don't always, sometimes you get discouraged. Hi, Courtney Harden. Good to see you. I see your stuff. And Sean Michael, I will ask Pam about the U.S. Open. She has been kind of busy, but I will ask her. I was talking to her this morning. NBA. I know that James Young and Mr. Dream are looking at over 4.5 points for the first quarter for Tyrese Halliburton. I'm actually looking full game because he's back at home. Hallie does much better at home where he averages 4 more points per game. I know he's got this lower leg injury, so maybe that's why first quarter points could work, because if it gets a little banged up, and he said in that interview to be more aggressive, helping the Pacers earlier on in games. Hallie's lived for the big moment in these postseasons. The Pacers, they're hosting their first NBA Finals in 25 years. This is the moment. If you look at the Thunder's defense against guards in game 3s, a.k.a. the Thunder on the road for the first time in a series, Scottie Pippen Jr. had 28 points. Jamal Murray had 27 points. Anthony Edwards had 30 points. So guards have had success against Oklahoma City in game 3s when OKC defense is on the road. Miles Turner, I'm going to probably go back to 5.5 rebounds. I know it lost in game 2, but it won in game 1. I'm confident. I looked again at the game 3s. The centers had success against OKC. Zach Edey had 7 rebounds. Nikola Jokic had 16 rebounds. Rudy Gobert had 7 rebounds. With it being the first game on a new court in the finals, 2 fast-paced teams, I'm expecting there to be rebounds just like there were with those missed shots in game 1. If Turner doesn't hit this, I will not look back at him again. He had 9 boards in game 1 and 4 or 5 in game, I think 4 in game 2. But again, if you missed it on the PropQueen.com newsletter, I talked about how he has struggled against guys like Cat in rebounding because Cat was out on the wing trying to put up shots. Well, he's not going to have that problem with Isaiah Hartenstein. And then SGA. I'm definitely not taking him over. If you want to be ballsy, you could go look at him under. Game 3s for SGA, a.k.a. on the road. Well, on the road, the first game of a series. So, new arena. SGA, 31 points at Memphis. This defense is atrocious against point guards, and he went 31 points. Denver, 18 points. Minnesota, 14 points. Those were all of SGA's game 3s. So, I would just take a look at the 33 under because, again, you were getting at Marley's barking. I thought I was doing so well with getting her. I thought that I turned on Morgan Wallen. I love Morgan Wallen. And I thought she liked it because for the last 25 minutes, she's been really quiet. But now she's crying. I really just thought Morgan was going to do it. And it would have been so funny because I love him. But here we are. I'm going to get a little quieter. I don't think Marley likes when I'm talking on air and she can't hear me. She's fine when I'm quiet. But when I'm talking, not a fan. Jessica Brand still does her thing where she has the parlay of 30-40, so 30 over for SGA, 40 under, plus 117. Under is 33.5, minus 106, so anything 1 to 39 is a profit. I agree. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be betting SGA over. When you have a points prop that was 33.5 while you were at home, and the book doesn't even alter it by 1 point down to 32.5 for being on the road, especially for the first game on the road, I think something's wrong. Now, I know it's SGA. I know he's the MVP. I know he's been amazing. But against Indiana, we have seen that some of the, regardless, OKC, when they play on the road for the first game, SGA has not gone over 33.5. So I just think the number is a bit too high for my liking. No over. Rick C will just adjust the defense. What's going on? It's your boy James 888 from over at Twitch. Maybe play some Bob Marley. Ha, 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 ha. I feel so bad. And it's like, I wish I could just do something to just, I need like a soundproof room. My mom thinks that I should put an iPad in front of her, see if she'll watch like a show. I just think that she loves me so much and doesn't want to be apart from me. Poor thing. Okay, I need to stop. I can't be so distracted by her. We've got Major League Baseball to talk about as well. I did have a fishy line for today to talk about. There were actually a few fishy lines to talk about today, but I'm only going to talk about one that stood out the most to me. And then I'm going to add some other stuff. I'm waiting on Jomboy's Talking Jake so that we could talk about growing a business. Oh my goodness, this dog is getting aggressive in there. If anyone has any questions about the NBA playoffs, you could definitely ask. I will answer any questions about the NBA, Major League Baseball. If you have any questions to ask about today's games, I will try my best to answer those as well. I'm trying so hard to not be distracted by this dog crying in the crate. If you also follow along at the PropQueen.com newsletter, I go through all of these things in Major League Baseball of who's hot and who's not. There are a ton of hot players right now. Colton Cowser, he just came off the IL with a broken left thumb for the Orioles, and he's hitting 286 with 2 homers in 6 games. So these are all little edges to take advantage of if you want to look at the PropQueen.com newsletter. And then I also am going to go through the matchups of the day and the K-props of the day to look at. There were a bunch. Yesterday, short slate of games, so not as many. But today, tomorrow, we'll definitely get through some Major League Baseball strikeout props. As I have to add these graphics in because I'm always so late and Marley did not want to go in her crate today. Shocker. Okay, I see him here and I'm going to bring him on because I'm really excited to have this conversation and hopefully it's going to distract me from my crying 4-month-old puppy in her crate. Let's bring on from Jomboy. And if you didn't see the news today, we're going to talk about it because Jomboy has been in the works of growing this thing for years. I mean, when we talk about that 2017, these two started a podcast and it has led to one of the biggest things in sports, nonetheless, baseball, but like sports wise, it's crazy how far they've come. So bringing on from my friend over at Jomboy, Talking Jake. What's up?
What's going on, girl? How you doing?
I'm so pumped to have you. And please distract me. My dog is only here for like 10 days so far, and she is so upset when I put her in the crate during the show. All she wants to do is watch.
It's literally the best of times and the worst of times. It's the cutest puppy moments you've ever seen, and then they turn into a monster. So I'm a squeaking noise that can be really tough. But I don't know. It's the corny line of like appreciate it, but also like it stinks.
I know. Okay, so we're going to move on to why your day does not stink, because today was huge news for you guys at Jomboy. And I'm going to show everybody just so that they have an idea of what happened. But you're going to explain to us like this whole thing. So Major League Baseball has acquired an undisclosed minority stake in Jomboy Media. So it grants you guys league and team IP, merch, sponsorship collabs, etc. You guys really made your name with the Yankees at first. However, you've really branched out to all of Major League Baseball. So what does this mean for you guys at Jomboy?
We're excited to see. I know that's like a corny place to start, but at the same time, we've had a lot of conversations with like the right people at baseball, and that was kind of our problem for a few years was getting in front of the right people. And yeah, honestly, there's so much that it's a little overwhelming right now. Like you mentioned the like logos and stuff. We can sell like really cool team merch and stuff like that like we can design and do that. So we think there's going to be a lot of opportunities there. We can't use like new footage. Like that's not really how it works, but we're hoping to use some old footage and do some creative stuff with that. And I don't know, like we have more access and we haven't decided exactly how we want to use that. We've tried a lot of different things, and as you know, in this forum, like sometimes short form just goes crazy and you just have to hammer short form as much as you can. Sometimes it's like, all right, well, long form, let's figure out the next big thing that we can integrate a bunch of ads into, and that can be the next big winner for us. So I don't know, we're excited to do a lot of our same stuff and hopefully just have Major League Baseball on our side, and they are now. So excited to grow into that and see. I don't want to depict this in a bad light with our new family, but like MLB haven't been on our team this whole ride, and now they are. So maybe that's the best way to look at it.
Well, we're seeing that MLB is starting to realize that influencers and social media, digital media is the way of the future. It's how to get Gen Z, this younger generation, involved. You guys have seemingly had the foresight to go this direction since back in 2017, finding ways to cater to social media. How did this all begin back then?
Yeah, I mean, I'll again, sometimes I can get a little wordy, so I'll try to keep it as tight as possible.
It's okay. That's why you're a podcast host and everything else.
Talking Jake. It's ironic because I do a lot of it, but I'm also not fantastic at it sometimes. Anyways, honestly, Jimmy reached out 2017, wanted to do a Yankees podcast. He was living in Cali and wasn't with like his big Yankee family, like TV's on every night. That it was his first time kind of being like, damn, like I don't have anyone to really enjoy the games with. So he started mixing it up on Twitter, and then they asked for a podcast, which he's like, okay. He reached out to me. He said, hey, let's do something once a week. I said, sure, like talk to my buddy for once a week. Why not? Like I'll look back at that and say that's like a good thing I did in my life. Like I won't regret that. And then I think the rooted part of that is, the secret part of doing any of this is like, there's a chance you think you might be good at it. So, me and Jimmy were always silly guys in school or amongst our friends or whatever. And, from there we got just a little bit of traction. I mean, Jimmy also has like a video and audio background. He went to school for that for a little bit. So that was one of our difference makers. He used to go through audio and make sure stuff sounded really good and all of that. So that was definitely huge to have, still is. And then we just kind of kept growing into whatever people wanted. We went from one episode of Talking Yanks a week to two. And then from there, it was like, hey, I remember the one for me because I'm a sports loser. I go if I go to a hotel room, it's like ESPN, like that's it, like I just watch sports. I'm Stanley Cup, sure, NBA, whatever. Like I go home and I watch sports. I'm an old Italian man. That I remember I wanted to do all of baseball, and Jimmy was like, I kind of watch the Yankees. Like, I'm not there yet. And then I brought it up a couple months later, and he kind of looked at me and he was like, give me like 3 months, because the breakdowns really started to go. And I was like, all right, here we go. And then that started to lead into all of baseball and talking baseball. And we got our first investment. We got like a small office in the Bronx, hired our first couple people. COVID hit, horrifying. Baseball was the first sport back, and we ended up crushing it, just because we were like, okay, we have to. I mean, those scary COVID New York City times of being locked in an apartment, like, wait, did we just blow our chance? Like, did it just end? That we worked pretty much every day for the 60-game season and then the playoffs as well. And we ended up having a quote unquote like good business year. So our investors were stoked because every other business did bad. That we got another investment. We got an office in Manhattan, and now we're here. We got like 60 employees. It's insane.
It's crazy to think that it all took off and just two friends starting a show. How did you get those connections to meeting guys like at the Yes Network and getting Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, on your show? I mean, you were just two friends who were Yankees fans.
Yeah, I mean, it originally when things were really rolling, it was people reaching out that we kind of had to do a sniff test on and be like, okay, who are you? And is this anything we want? Like, what do we need? Again, it was good timing to be in like the podcast YouTube space. And I think the other secret is like baseball fans are baseball fans, that like we got linked up with people who like baseball that were looking for us. So we, knock on wood, our original investors, is a group of guys in LA, led by Jack Davis, who he's just a big Dodgers fan that does some different stuff, that wanted to get involved. And there are some extensions of it's just baseball people that were looking for this, to be honest. And then, from there, it just kept going and going. It was wild times. And Jimmy used to get really tough against it because the Astros scandal was one of the big,
I mean, that was really the big thing when you guys called out the garbage cans.
Was the biggest story in baseball, was the biggest story in sports, which baseball doesn't do a ton of, but it was also like one of the biggest sport stories in the country. Like, people love a scandal. But we did secure our first investment before the Astros scandal. So we do like to get that out there.
Okay, so you guys get the Astros scandal essentially, and you expose one of the hottest teams in baseball. How do you guys handle that kind of pushback, I guess, when your job is to cover the league, but now you're kind of like, I mean, you're really dealing with like a massive issue there.
Well, that's one of the wildest things about it, because we/Jim didn't reveal that. Like, there was an article written that revealed that it was Ken Rosenthal and Evan Drellich, I believe, was the original Athletic article. But honestly, it should be a case study in every college of, it was back when it was behind a paywall. So baseball people went in and read it, and it was like, oh my God, the Astros are cheating, and there's a player attached to it telling the story, and it was a whole deal. That, like, in baseball, everyone was like, damn, this is a thing. Jimmy at the time was just so active and go-getter for anything video or anything baseball, that his natural reaction was like, wait, okay, this pitcher says in this inning that he heard the banging. Literally went to the YouTube video of that game, went to that inning, and you see the pitcher step off the mound, and he's like, what? Like, something's wrong. And so Jimmy put together the video, and when any baseball person, any sports fan sees the video for the first time, you're like, oh, they're cheating. So it was one of the that it should be in every college media class or wherever they teach it, that like the difference between video and handwritten, like sometimes it's extremely impactful, and that was a major example.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time with, even as bad as this is, players getting suspended.
Right.
It's videos that are the reason we've seen lifetime bans like Ray Rice, as opposed to just word of mouth and not really knowing from the storylines. But you guys have, okay, and I'm gonna like kind of out you here a little bit, but you guys aren't as young as your audience tends to be. Like, we're what, I'm assuming in our 30s, right?
I came on here to be a good friend, and now
Please,
we are in our
mid
mid-30s. Yes.
You don't want to be them, but you know how to cater to them. And I find it so impressive, because the biggest thing that I struggle with is sticking with the times of like catering to this new generation. Now, I know for me, I've always grown up wanting to be on TV and a broadcaster and so professional. Right. This generation wants chill, cool, vibey, like so casual. How do you find the way to keep this young audience, or like get this young audience like going viral like you guys always do?
It's a great question, AE, because in a way, one of the things that me and Jimmy were always super appreciative of is we get to be ourselves. Like Jom in person, it will be a little more shy and just not out there. Like I'm me and I can't turn it off. Like if you see me in the subway, if you see me, like I'm the same cat. That we were always appreciative that, because, you know, some people at like Barstool have different personalities that they put on screen, and that's how they have to live our lives. We always got to be ourselves, which was really cool when you're doing content, because you don't really feel a pressure to go elsewhere. I'll say one of the things that has been lucky with timeline or growth of the company is, you know, like I don't really TikTok. Like that's okay. You exposed me. Now I'm going to say I'm exposing myself.
So
and that's
frustrating,
you know, that's take me out. Like we now have a social media team that I'll do some videos and they'll post it on my TikTok and we'll go that way. But it's tough, and it becomes a survival mechanism a little bit that, you know, I think you understand that. You're just constantly adapting. And like, you know, I know there about a year and a half ago, YouTube shorts were the only ways to really get subscribers. So we just hammered YouTube shorts for a year. So it's a weird mix of doing the content you want to do, playing whatever the game is at that time, and then just responding to the audience. I don't know. I never go in with the intention of like, oh, you know, I've got a bunch of 18-year-olds watching. What do they want to see? And I guess that's one of the other perks of just like, I don't know. I want to talk ball. I want to talk any ball. That I think that ends up resonating.
What's been your really like cool moment so far? Like an OMG, we made it.
It's a good question. It's tough because I don't want to say there's so many cool ones, but I'm a sports fan. Like Bartolo Colon was in our office today, and like my fantasy baseball crew growing up, like he was like the inside joke. Like every draft, like we talk about Bart, like, you know, he literally grew up, he used to throw coconuts to build up his arm. Like the guy's a legend, and he was in the office today. So I always just try to be appreciative of moments like that. I will give you one corny thing, and I can't believe I'm referencing this because I need to stop. But I'm a sports guy. I listened to Bill Simmons and Jon Stewart after I think the Knicks lost game 2, which we watched. And no, it's funny. I don't normally crush Bill Simmons' content, but when it's playoff time, I will. I'm a big Ryan Russillo guy. Jon Stewart was asked, he was like, what was your you made it moment? And, you know, Jon Stewart, you know, hosted the Daily Show for years, and he's involved in comedy, politics, and all this. And he had really good perspective that he was like, my made it moment was the day I moved to New York City and I signed a 6-week lease on an apartment. And I left, I think he said he was living in Trenton, New Jersey. And it was like, he went for it. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of moments where I look around and I'm like, oh my God, we made it. But at the same time, I just try to be appreciative of the fact of like, we're kind of doing this, whatever this is. And that in and of itself is pretty cool.
So your I made it moment wasn't when I told you about the guy I went on a date with who was more starstruck by the fact that I knew you guys?
So that was my B answer. That was my B answer. No, hey, I'll say that. That's always, well, not that exact example. Not that exact example.
Just for backstory, so everyone knows, I went on a date with a guy who, like, for a date idea, asked if I wanted to go with him, and he'd get my ticket to one of the Jomboy events that they did to live watch a Yankees game. I said, "Do you want me to like FaceTime them for you right now?"
I don't know. That sounds like a nice time. No,
Imagine me
it's
going
always
on a
cool.
date to a Jomboy event.
Come on. That's the perfect first date. This city's tough. Come on. Come on.
Oh man, Jake, no, that was too good. Okay, what's up next now for Jomboy? Now that MLB seems to be backing you, I know you said you could sell merch, but like, what's something that Jomboy is looking forward to in the future?
I think, some of their prime events we've had limited access to, which again, we don't even hate because in a way, like we're not real media, we're our own deal but just like All-Star game, we should have some more access there if we want to talk to players and do all of that. Like World Series, it's just crazy that we've built such a busy content slate that it's not easy to be like, hey, let's go to the World Series. It's like, no, we've sold live streams, we've done this, that, and the other. But I don't know, even some like winter meetings like that brings out the baseball nerd in me, and hopefully we'll have more places that we can participate in and stuff like that. But that was kind of, and a credit to MLB, sucks up to the league. But no, I mean, our whole thing is like we want to do what we do. And part of this deal is they are letting us do what we do. So that we're excited to do that with the league like behind us and supporting us. And we, Talking Yanks, Talking Baseball are the two top baseball podcasts, and they haven't, like, MLB hasn't like supported them. So I kind of we want to see where it starts to grow and then go from there.
Let's talk a little baseball before I let you go. The Yankees.
Yes.
World Series again, or you think they need a little bit more?
Tiger fans have not been happy with me because I default.
Sean Michael in the chat is excited for this because he's a diehard Tigers fan.
Hey, I love what the kiddies are doing. But for me, like the Yankees went to the World Series last year. Like that should be respected a little bit. Let's see what we've got. Like, let's see does Luis Gil become a part of this season? They need more arms. I've been hammering the desk the past couple of years that their lineup has just gone too thin. I mean, after Soto and Judge last year, the second half of their lineup was just like a flyover state. So I need the Yankees to get a little more pitching. I think a high leverage bullpen piece. Because, hey, look at the Dodgers last year. They made it pretty far when it was just like Flaherty, and then Buehler finally kicked into life. But they didn't have the strongest rotation until the end. So the Yankees need a little more pitching. They need a good deadline, though. If they don't, then I don't know, like Houston's sneaky in the mix, and nobody's really talking about that.
Houston's always the team that literally could care less in the first half. Then the second half, you're like, oh, how'd that happen?
They're in first right now, and nobody's talked Houston.
No. Well, and the AL East is having a down year too, but no one's talking about how close the AL West is. The AL East, do you see anyone aside for the Yankees putting up a fight?
We're going to find out about the Red Sox soon. If that Yankee series sparked them and Roman Anthony something, we'll see if they get back in the mix. I have no info or data or anything to back this. I've always liked the Blue Jays. And
yeah, I like them every year too, just like the Padres. And every year they piss me off.
This is the first year that I feel like they're into June and the vibes are still good. And I know a chunk of their rotation. Their bullpen's actually been really good. So there's one piece of information. But I don't know. Like Addison Barger's come onto the scene, and they have Santander was supposed to be a huge piece for them. He's hurt and he didn't give them anything. That I don't know. There's good vibes in Toronto. They went into this year with the feeling of we might be losing Vladdy. We might be trading Vladdy. Like, what is our franchise? Instead, Vladdy's locked up. I think if the playoffs started today, they're in a wild card spot. That I have a little bit of hope for the Great North.
Ooh, okay. I mean, I do hope that the Blue Jays follow through because I feel bad they've gotten snubbed on all the big names at every single offseason free agency.
Crazy.
Good karma's coming their way at some point, just like it did for you guys over at Jomboy. Talking Jake, let everyone know what they can watch and where from the Jomboy platforms.
We do way too much still. That's the other side of this MLB.
What are you on?
I want to tell them I need to slow down. I don't know. Go check out baseball and you'll find our stuff. And I say that in a not cool way, but Talking Baseball podcast, Jomboy's breakdowns. Like if you're not watching those, I don't know what you're doing. And we always got something new coming. So we'll see at some point. We've probably are. If you're watching this, we've ruined your search page on Instagram.
I love it. I love every time that you guys pop up on my feed. So Talking Jake over at Jomboy, congratulations on the big move with MLB, and we will talk to you again soon, and hopefully we'll do some gambling at some point.
Let's go. Some parlays. That's where we win.
Hell yeah. We got to make more money off this. Even though you're making money, we love to see it. We'll talk to you again soon, and go Yanks.
See you.
I love those guys. Those guys are awesome. And yes, true story about me and the guy on the date and him telling me that he's obsessed with the Jomboy guys and wanted us to go there on a date to their event. Anyway, let's make some money. Batters to watch overs. So these are the good matchups of the day. Shohei Ohtani, he crushes Dylan Cease, hitting .316 with a double and 3 home runs. He's due. Ohtani's 7 straight games without a home run is tied for his longest drought of the season. Jeff McNeil, 7 of 10 against Mackenzie Gore. George Springer, he's got a home run, 5 for 9 against Miles Michaelis. Adam Frazier hitting .467 with a double, 2 homers against Sandy Alcantara. Will Benson, he's hitting .500 with a double and 2 homers against Slade Ciccone. JT Realmuto, 4 of 10, but with a double and a homer against Colin Ray. Trevor Story, 3 for 5 with a homer against Ryan Pepio. But Story hitting .467 with 7 ribbies in his last 3 games. Multiple hits in each game. So you could take a look at his total bases or some kind of hits prop. Harrison Bader also has good numbers against Tyler Mahle, 4 for 9 with 2 home runs. For under matchups, Brendan Lowe, no hits in 12 at-bats against Lucas Giolito. Francisco Lindor, just 2 hits in 14 at-bats against the lefty Mackenzie Gore. Pete Alonso also struggles against Gore, but Alonso has been on fire, hitting .344 with 8 homers, 23 RBI, and 12 runs scored in his last 15 games. Jesus Sanchez, no hits in his career against Mitch Keller. Luis Rengifo, I think is how I say it, 1 for 10 with 4 strikeouts against Mitch Spence. Jaron Duran, 2 of 10 with 3 Ks against Ryan Pepio. Andrew McCutchen, 1 for 13 with 5 strikeouts against Sandy Alcantara. But McCutchen's on fire, hitting .317 with 5 extra base hits, 8 ribbies, and 8 runs scored in his last 16 games. Ellie De La Cruz, 1 for 9 with 4 strikeouts against Slade Ciccone. Strikeout props to look out for tonight. This is my long list, and for anyone that doesn't know, you can subscribe to the PropQueen.com newsletter today. If you subscribe to Premium for $17.99 a month, you could see my long list of strikeout props every morning, and it's before the lines move, which they did. Like, for example, Tyler Mahle was at +128 this morning. Dylan Cease was at -136, and now he's at like -150. Logan Evans was -102, and now he's -136. So all these lines move. And if you follow the premium subscription of the PropQueen.com newsletter, then you get those numbers before they move. I don't bet all of these. I tell you the info that I get on these. These are the edges I find, and you get to choose which ones you like to bet. I will tell you the ones that I'm going to bet in Royal Locks. First off, Phillies righty Mick Abel under 4.5 Ks. It is a small sample size because Abel only has 2 starts. One of those starts was against the low K rate Toronto Blue Jays, where he had just 2 strikeouts in 5 1/3. Righty starters, 21 overs, but 26 unders, averaging just over 4 strikeouts a game against the Cubs. Outside of Zach Wheeler and Jack Flaherty, Jake Urban, Trevor Williams, Nick Martinez, they all went under 4.5 Ks. Even Reds ace Hunter Green had 2 strikeouts against the Cubs. I don't put Mick Abel in the same conversation as Zach Wheeler and Jack Flaherty. I put him more in the conversation with Jake Urban, Trevor Williams, and Nick Martinez, who all went under 4.5 Ks. Max Fried, over 4.5 strikeouts for him against the Royals. The Royals have drastic lefty-righty splits. They really don't strike out much against righties, but they do against lefties. 7 of the 11 lefties to face the Royals went over their strikeout prop, averaging 5.5 Ks a game. 5 of 7 southpaws to face the Royals since the beginning of May have gone over 4.5 strikeouts, and Fried, he's gone over 4.5 Ks in 6 of 7 outings against high K rate teams. Tyler Mahle under 4.5 Ks. Numbers-wise, this isn't as great of a play when it comes to like statistics, but when it comes to the value and the statistics combined, it's good value. Again, Mahle was at plus 128 this morning. It's now moved to plus 116. So Mally's had 5 starts against low K rate lineups. He's only got under 4.5 Ks in 2 of those starts. However, when Mahle went over, he just had about 5 strikeouts. So like it was just going over. Righties, mostly going under against Minnesota. 37 unders, just 16 overs against the Twins, averaging 4 strikeouts a game. 6 of the last 10 righty starters to face Minnesota went under 4.5 Ks. So Tyler Mahle under is what I would look at. Dylan Cease, I would only take his under 6.5 Ks, not 5.5. Cease has faced 3 low K rate lineups. He had 6 strikeouts in all 3 of them. Last season against the Dodgers, Cease had 6, 4, 5, and 1 strikeout. Righty starters, 24 unders, 22 overs, averaging just over 4 strikeouts a game against the Dodgers. 7 of the last 10 righties to start against LA went under 6.5 Ks. Then Seattle's righty, Logan Evans, under 3.5 Ks. This went from minus 102 to minus 136. I know our researcher, Jessica Brand, agrees with me on this one. It's a low number, but it makes sense since Evans has faced 3 low K rate lineups. He had 3 strikeouts against Toronto and San Diego, then 4 against Washington. So Evans doesn't normally go more than 5 or 6 innings. Arizona is averaging just over 4 strikeouts a game against righty starters with 25 unders, 21 overs against them. 6 of the last 10 to face Arizona went under this. But when you look at like Spencer Strider, he had 4 strikeouts against the Diamondbacks. So Logan Evans should go under. Sean Michael said, if you bet these K props separately every day, you're going to make plus money. Jessica said, Logan Evans was my K play of the day. It was a long day yesterday. So she, yeah, I saw Fried at plus 132 earlier today. You did? To the over? Are you sure? I think you're thinking under, not the over. The over was minus 150 at one point. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Wait, that was the under. Okay. I've got a little bit more. Let me see if there's anything else from the chat. Okay, one more fishy line, and then I'll go to my Rolex. Fishy line of the day. There were 3 fishy lines today, but this is the one that made the most sense to me. So the Chicago White Sox are taking on the Houston Astros. You're seeing that the line moved like 20 cents against the Astros, despite the public on Houston. So over the last 6 games, the White Sox, they have a .485 on-base percentage with runners in scoring position. Shane Smith is starting for the White Sox, and he's been awesome with a 2.45 ERA. He can become, Smith, the first White Sox starter since 1968 when they raised the mound can become the first White Sox starter since 1968 to begin his career with 13 starts of 3 earned runs or fewer. And Lance McCullers, he's got a 4.44 ERA. So I don't really trust McCullers. The way I would play this is probably the White Sox first 5 money line. So I don't have to worry about the bullpens because Houston does have a bullpen advantage there. But I do like the White Sox in some capacity today, but I would definitely be staying away from the Houston Astros today. Now I have to go save my dog, so let's get to my best bets of the day. It is Royal Locks. Royal locks of the day, back to strikeout props. I'm betting all three of these, starting with Max Fried to go over 4.5 Ks. You get this at -140. He's gone over it in 6 of 7 outings against high K rate teams. Lefties averaging 5.5 strikeouts a game against the Royals, with 5 of 7 southpaws to face Kansas City, going over 4.5 strikeouts since the start of May. Dylan Cease under 6.5 Ks. It is a number he has not gone over yet against a low K rate lineup. In fact, against the Dodgers last year, he didn't go over this throughout his 4 starts. 7 of the last 10 righties to face LA went under 6.5 strikeouts. And Logan Evans under 3.5 Ks. He's gone under in 2 of 3 starts against low K rate lineups. Arizona's averaging just over 4 strikeouts a game, which is very low on average. 6 of the last 10 to face Arizona went under their strikeout prop of 6 of the last 10 went under 3.5 Ks, which again, a really low number for 6 of the last 10 to go under. Spencer Strider only had 4 strikeouts against Arizona. So I think that Logan Evans and Spencer Strider are like worth at least 2 to 3 strikeouts apart. Those are my Royal locks, my best bets of the day. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe. It helps a lot. Also can watch back all of our interviews. Like if you want to watch Dream's interview from yesterday and you missed it, you can check that out on the YouTube page. He talks about the NBA Finals tomorrow. He talks about the WNBA slate tonight. In addition to Coach James Young coming on the show, he talks about the WNBA, the NBA Finals, and we had Talkin' Jake if you need some inspiration for never giving up on your dream and being able to do what you love and getting paid for it. Just stick to your dreams, guys, and they will come true. If you continue to believe, you should win your bets as well. Good luck tonight. I will see you tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time here on the Prop Queen Pod.